Member of the House Oversight Committee that worked to get the birthday book and other Epstein documents released to the public. Congressman, we just heard the White House press secretary accusing you and other Democrats of only caring about the Epstein case for political reasons, that you did nothing when Biden was in office. What do you say to that?
I don't mind the attacks on me. I'm used to that. I'm offended and saddened that they are attacking the survivors. I don't know if Carolyn Leavitt saw the testimonials of the survivors. They were in tears. They were talking about being assaulted and raped in junior high as 13 and 14-year-olds. They were talking about having to go and recruit other junior high and high school students to be assaulted by Jeffrey Epstein and his rich and powerful men. They talked about a culture where people said that because you're rich, because you have political connections, there's no accountability. And they pleaded with Donald Trump to meet them. Some said they voted for Donald Trump, right, and they pleaded with him to release the files. So, they're calling, attack me, fine, but why attack those survivors?
Well, what are the issues? I mean, back, before the president was reelected, this issue, the whole Jeffrey Epstein thing, if there was a hoax, it was being pushed by a lot of right-wing folks in the manosphere and online and blogs and podcasts and stuff. And then the target were really sort of Democrats that were alleged to have gone on the flight logs, and there are all these fake flight logs that got posted. So there was a push to and there was a lot of hoaxing involved about who was at that island and fake lists of who are the flight logs, which have now been put out, and this whole issue of the Black Book. But to the criticism that Carolyn Leavitt has made of you and other Democrats is that perhaps because the Democrats at that point were the focus, Democrats didn't really want to go into this issue. So what do you say to actually, was enough done while President Biden was in office by Democrats?
Well, first of all, we spoke about this in 2019 with Elijah Cummings and called for a full investigation into Epstein. And I have tweeted out back in 2019 with the Oversight Committee and looking at this. And then when President Biden was there, they were looking at it, and the judge had 2 releases of files. Then what happened is that Donald Trump ran and he said, we're going to release all of the files. And Pam Bondi said that there's a list and we're going to release all the files. Not one Democrat, including me, stood out and criticized Donald Trump or Pam Bondi when that was going on. We gave them the benefit of the doubt. But then she suddenly said, no, we're not going to release anything. And that's when I started to speak out. That's when Thomas Massie started to speak out. At first, we thought it would be a bipartisan effort, that the 2 of us would lead this and Donald Trump would say, OK, let's release the files. But for whatever reason, and this is what I really don't understand, Anderson, and maybe Carolyn Leavitt can answer it tomorrow, he has been resistant to releasing these files and protecting the victims. If there's nothing there, why doesn't he just release it? That will get the story to be over. And he keeps saying hoax, 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 thinking he can do the Russia hoax. That's his kind of game plan. But it's not working this time because they're not just Democrats standing. There's Marjorie Taylor Greene standing. There's Nancy Mace standing. There's Lauren Boebert standing. There's a lot of MAGA folks who are asking for the release of this file. This is very different than the Russia case. Frankly, it's different than January 6th. Here you have the MAGA base upset at him.
Your Republican colleague, Congressman Massie, you mentioned, told Manu Raju today that the existence of the birthday book indicates more, quote, embarrassing files could come out. Do you have any idea specifically what he's referring to?
I do not, in terms of the speculation, but I think that anyone who looked at that is just so crude. There are a lot of terrible insults of women, demeaning. And it's not, my focus and Massey's focus has not been Trump. There are a lot of other men implicated. And when you talk to the survivors and the survivors' lawyer, their bigger concern is not Donald Trump. Their bigger concern is that there are hundreds of people who either covered up for Jeffrey Epstein, financed Jeffrey Epstein, or were part of Jeffrey Epstein's farming operation who have not had any accountability. And that's really what they're looking for, accountability for them. It's not personal to Donald Trump.
Congressman Ro Khanna, I appreciate your time tonight. Thank you.